So in today's video, I've reached back out to one of my very first high ticket consulting clients. This is one of the very first people that inspired me to move from a done for you agency, moving all the way full-fledged into consulting, where I'm just coaching, showing my clients how to do the work, kind of building some systems for them and kind of giving them templates and helping them a little bit, but mostly just directing and guiding them. Her name is Dee Tozer, and I met her through the same strategies that we teach our clients in the consulting blueprint, right? Just basic organic marketing. Messaged her. Actually, she messaged me. We got on a call, and I closed her from there. And fast forward about 2 years later, in this interview, you're going to see how her investment into me as a total beginner, having only worked with a handful of clients at that point, she was able to 20x her investment. And this interview does really two things for my company. A, it shows you that even if you're a beginner, you can follow our models and follow our trainings and know how to deal with client relationships, so that even if you're not sure if you have the authority, you can still sign incredible clients. Throwback to, I think 2 years ago, Dee paid me, I think it was like $10,000 or $15,000 for me to work with her to help build just a basic marketing funnel for her business. That's what I did. And this example can apply to really anybody with any sort of a skill. If you are a health coach, like one of our clients in the program, she did $8,000 in a day selling health consulting services like holistic health coaching. And if you don't have a track record yet and you're in that niche, you can learn a lot from how I manage my client relationships with Dee, and hearing sort of what she says and sort of the insights she brings to the table on, how to be a respectful but also consultant, but also someone with a lot of authority that still ends up creating the change in your client's business that you desire to create for them. So there's a lot of value in this video for you if you're a beginner especially, or you're just getting started, or you want to learn how to start navigating higher level relationships, these $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 clients, or, clients that have a lifetime value of $100,000 plus for your company. And I think it's going to be a valuable video for many reasons. First of all, to help you break imposter syndrome, to help you know that even when I was getting started, I still had that imposter syndrome, yet I was still able to help a client and help her through that. And even her, she admits on this interview that she dealt with some of the same imposter syndrome as well back at that time. And you're going to see sort of that it matters more who you are than anything. You need to work on yourself and develop your own self-image and your own concept of yourself to really be able to enter into these relationships with clients. And that's what we help our clients in the consulting blueprint do. But I digress. Even if you're not interested in joining the consulting blueprint, you're interested in being an actual client of ours and being a high tier client and letting us help you build better systems for getting sales calls, growing your online coaching or consulting program, getting to multiple six-figure months like we have. This is an interview with one of the first clients we had forever ago that did that with us, and that I think she did like 20x to 30x investment, which is really cool. So this is a very cool interview for me to be releasing. This is going to be a very valuable interview. I want you to watch the whole thing and learn a lot from how I managed this relationship. So welcome so much to the YouTube channel, Dee, and thank you for making some time to make this happen. Mrs. Dee, welcome to the channel.
Hi, Trey. Yeah, what a joy, what a pleasure it is.
It's wonderful to catch up again.
Yeah, it's wonderful to catch up with you too and hear how well you've done. And to think I was one of the earliest people. And yeah, so we were just glowing over it briefly. And what drew me to work with you, I think that's probably important for people listening here, is you were so fresh, new and fresh, with fresh ideas, and not burnt out, and not trying to tell me there's only one way to do it and I got it all wrong. It was really, you were uplifting and encouraging. I think my topic probably was challenging for someone of your age. You would never have.
Was challenging. I never set out to work with a marriage counselor, but I was like, man, you've got these incredible packages, and I just know that if I figured out the right process, we could book calls, we could make sales. And it's cool to hear.
And you did, and yeah, and you did, and it took me a while to get my head around what I needed to have for you. But as it turned out, I was in a messy state with people doing bits and pieces, but it wasn't pulled together. So it didn't take me too much. You probably can't remember back to that far, but to actually be able to get the material to you. And I knew my stuff. I just needed it all put into that funnel, and it was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's such a cool, there were a handful of clients that I worked with back then. The nature of the work, some clients, they just flashed off. Some clients, it's like, they could have, it's arguable whether it was a good fit, but it was really cool seeing you. I gotta give you some credit, Dee. Like,
my business would not be where it's at if it weren't for having worked with you. Like you gave me the confidence. I was like, all right, if I can help her, like if I can do that, then who knows who we can serve. And so to this day now, D, I mean, we've worked with over 600 students or clients or whatever you want to call them. We've got our flagship program, the Consulting Blueprint. We've got a mastermind level thing where our team works with you. And it's just, I wanted to bring you onto the channel more than anything. And I'm sure I said this in the intro, just to share with our viewers, because a lot of them learn from me directly on how to land clients like you, where they've got either a marketing service or a consulting service or coaching. We've got people that are holistic health coaches. We've got, like yourself, you're a marriage counselor, coach, whatever you would want to call it. We've got different people from different walks selling different forms of advice. And I almost wanted to just throw back to that season and just kind of ask you, I use it as a bit of a case study. I'm like, look, like it was just a quick conversation. We chatted. And after that point, I realized, wow, there's a lot of value in that model of just a quick organic conversation, set a call, see if it's a good fit and move forward if it is. And that's what we teach to this day, and our clients, they'll do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. I had no idea it was that simple at the time, and you showed me that. And so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
and I didn't even know. I was only, I was focusing on my own imposter syndrome at the time.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. It's crazy how that works, isn't it? Yeah. We were both growing a lot then, huh?
Oh, yeah. Because at that time, I had just clicked over, I think, about 3,800 couples or 4,100. Can't remember now at that time. I should have checked before this. But anyway, I've now just clicked over 4,800 couples.
Wow.
And in the world at large, internationally, there's no one else saying they've done that. And I would doubt very much if they have. I've been doing it for 32 years. That's a lot of couples. So why would I have something as crazy as imposter syndrome at the time? Now, I don't think you would have seen any of it coming from me, because by the time I started talking to you, you had a talent to quickly tap in and boost my confidence in what I knew, even though you didn't know what I knew. It was just the way you were, I think. Personality, we clicked. It was the vitality and freshness is what I call it. It was lovely to go there because everyone else wanted to give me lectures on how to do this, and it was all lecture based.
Up for some retainer and change the whole way you did everything and made you spend a bunch of money, and that was who I was competing against. And I felt like if I could just give D a reasonably consistent source of sales calls, which we ended up accomplishing, which I'm really happy about. But more importantly, B, a renewed sense of authority. Then
that's what it did. Yeah. So you got a renewed sense of authority, or a new one that you maybe didn't have, and I got a renewed one.
That's so cool how that worked out. Well, if you don't mind sharing, what is the project that we worked on done since then till now? I'm sure I mentioned it in the intro, but I just want to make sure that people know.
I shifted shifted to a tighter niche, got right down into my really tight target niche, because couples therapy, and I say this all the time, I hope I can say this on here, if it's not good, shut me up. But you know what, it's very, very hard. It is known to be the hardest therapy there is in any kind of therapeutic role we would be in. And while I work in a master coach capacity with all of this, I'm actually a trained psychologist of 30 years as well. And so the idea of working in a coaching arena more is a bit odd for us. So we couldn't quite get there. Anyway, so I was coaching in the couples therapy area of bickering couples, loads of bickering. And I did very well with them, helped the huge amount, 94% success rate. That means they'd stay together. Only 6% said that the therapy didn't help terribly much, all right? But I had individuals and not necessarily packages. So what you did was you shifted me and helped me go over to the 90-day package focus, which was my absolute ideal time frame. And to go, okay, I've got how many of those people and I think I did this after I started the package with you, were infidelity couples, because I knew there were a lot. So I got somebody to go back and work that out for me. And so at that time, the 3,900 couples, I had 1,800 of them, so virtually half, were infidelity, and of whom 90% had a successful outcome. If you want to know, anyone wants to know what a successful outcome is, I can tell you, but that's not for your audience, really.
Not quite.
So I went to saying, well, what am I doing with everyone else? I need to just focus on the meat, the nitty-gritty meat of this, which is the couples going through some cheating or betrayal crisis, and see what I can do in 90 days. So I did that.
Mm-hmm.
So since that, and when I started with you was in 2019, mid-19, I've had, you probably know how to calculate the ROI on it, but it's at least 20 times, I think, ROI over 2 years, 2 and a bit years.
Awesome.
So it took me a while to punch one package out. Took me a while to get my spiel right and to target the right people. And then once I did, it's been a relatively easy thing. So I've had a range of different combos of that package now. I got flexible about it. Now I've added 2 more much higher value packages.
That's
and
funny.
I've just got the first person taken up the second higher value one. First couple just started with that.
That's so cool. And I want to encourage our viewers with that, because I got to say, Dee, like I knew in theory that this process would work. I was like, in theory, this will work, but I hadn't had the track record yet. Nowadays, I've got the track record. We've got on a low end 6 million, on a high end coming up on 10 million in client earnings. So we've got the track record.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we've got the track record.
Congratulations! Wow, that's gobsmacking.
It's amazing. It's incredible, and I can't wait for you to meet some of these people. Maybe we even do something for our actual buyers community at some point. They really do. They're really cracking for this interview. Like, they're excited about this thing. It's really cool when it goes out. But that said, no, we've got the track record now. Back then, I didn't have the track record. One of the biggest objections that I get from my community is like, Trey, what gives me the authority? Like, what gives me the authority to sell this service or this coaching or this input or this advice? Like, and I would love to hear from you, Dee, what your experience was like having worked with me. And I'm sure, because you said on our catch-up call, we had just a hangout about this time yesterday. You said you knew I was wet behind the ears, which I guess you said it's Australian for a bit young and a bit new. And so you kind of got that sense. So help people maybe understand. One of the things I really want to communicate is how that played in my advantage, not in my disadvantage. And I'd love to hear.
Yes, that's really important.
From a buyer's market, why that was, just to really help.
Why that was.
Yes.
Yes, you were not seasoned, so you did not have a polished patter that was meaningless. Mm-hmm. You were totally listening to me. You were carefully wording your phrases, choosing your words carefully, not automatically like a patter. There was no patter. I liked it. It was genuine. You were clearly asking genuine questions you did not know about my work. You couldn't have known it at your age anyway. But people who come in who are 40 think they know all about couples and couples work, and they speak down to me. Well, you don't do that. So I think that's it. I'm not too sure how to encapsulate that in a description.
Like maybe you don't have to pretend to know things that you don't know.
That is very well said.
Odds are the client will know when you're trying to do that.
That's right. And you would know. I would have known. And you didn't do that once. And you owned up to 2, if you like, misinterpretations, and I wouldn't call it owning up, because you were very great about it. You just immediately went, oh yeah, okay, no, I've gone on the wrong tangent there. Let's come back to that. And every meeting, I felt you offered so many of those regular meetings. In that time, I had never had that many meetings before. People just went and did their own thing, and then I didn't like it. I've spent a lot of money on this stuff before. But you didn't. We had the catch-ups, and they were absolutely spot on, to the point. There was no fluff. There was no trying to persuade me to like what you did. No. And we all know about the no, like, trust thing. You didn't have to do any of that at the beginning. You just didn't need to. So these people who are listening can be confident if they are brainwashed with that. Yes, we want to do the work. We have to be in that connecting role where people will know, like, and trust us. We do that, but it's how you say it. It doesn't have to be too clever or definitely not salesy. You were not salesy, not one bit.
And I think what it is, and almost to boil it down almost to the language that my audience uses, it's I got rid of my imposter syndrome, not by pretending to be something I'm not, but by openly admitting that I was learning a lot while working with you, and that I was figuring it out along the way. And I found, like, we just had one of our highest level clients. He pays our full rate, and he was under the impression that we were a done for you. We're going to come in and do all the work for him. And that was the impression that he was under.
Right.
And we got on a call with him, and this is a little lesson that we've learned with the team. Like, he was a referral from somebody, and they were under the impression we're going to build them out this whole process, and we were going to do it all for them. We have our follow-up call about a week later, and they're like, "Hey, where are the leads? Like, they're not coming in." And we're like, "This is coaching that you've invested into. I hope you know." A huge communication, but purely by the means of me and my team's, like, transparency and admitting that that's something we should have made clear. But at the same time, there's still so much value in working with you guys, and we signed you up because we know we can help you. They respected that. And I think in the same way that you, Dee, and I'm just to make this clear for my audience, when I did make a mistake in judgment, I would admit it and ask for your help so that we could find that middle ground in my advice and my theory, and then your understanding of your industry. Is that about correct?
Absolutely. And it was more about, I was feeling my way with trying not to be salesy. You weren't salesy. And we had this gap of not sure what the salesy part was. We still had to, in a funnel, have something there, though, that the message was being hitting their pain point quickly. Yeah, we did have that, which is salesy. But we both came from the same point, but we were a little bit in this wobbly space in the middle of it. And it was absolutely lovely that you were genuinely asking the questions and owned up and went, "Well, I just don't know, Dee."
Yeah. Like, I remember vividly a few times I said, let me take the week and think about that and let you know.
I'll find that out. Yes.
Yeah, I really don't know. And I think people with your level of understanding of your industry, because you've been doing this, I got to give you some credit. You've been in your industry longer, probably 3 times longer than most people are ever in one industry their life. So you've been doing this a long time, and you're an expert. You're an expert at what you do. And I think for me, a part of what attracted me to working with you was that, and also that you're saving marriages. I really liked that. And I think you could tell that I liked that. And I think that was important. But more than that, I was genuinely, like, I think what you're picking up on is when I signed you up, I wasn't trying to be, I feel like I've said this a million different ways on this call. I'm not trying to be something I'm not.
No.
I just have this idea and I think it could work. And that's about all I had.
And how good was that? And I said to you, I remember saying to you, Trey, early on, not on our first call, one of the earliest strategy sessions we did, I said to you, I can be really bossy. And you said, yes, well, I can be too, meaning you. And I went, oh, that's a good match then. Okay, so we had a bit of a laugh about it. So I was more referring to not bossy to you. I was more saying bossy with my clients, because the sort of work I do, I have to be quite direct and blunt.
Absolutely. But then at the same time, I think I knew what, in theory, would have been best for the project. And so I think it's a healthy mix for my audience, people that are watching this and kind of learning from how I've handled my client relationships potentially. It's a healthy mix of, you don't know what you don't know, be willing to learn, mixed with what you do know, you have to own.
Yes.
Because you do know some things, but what you don't know, you have to be very quick to admit you don't. But what you do, you have to stand your ground and say, no, I really think we have to do it this way. And there were a few points when I think I gave something and you had your own idea, but I said, no, I really think this might be the path.
Yeah.
And it ended up working out in that way. And so I think it's important that my audience learns in that way. So I don't know, Dee, what would your advice be, let's say you've got I mean, we're probably going to have a couple hundred people watch this, maybe a couple thousand, who knows how many.
Right.
Just business owners that are in the consulting or coaching field. There's some marketing coaches, there's coaches of all types, really helping people understand, how do you gain authority in a space when you don't have quite the track record yet. And how from your end do you think somebody could repeat the level of quality that I was able to give you?
Yes. Well, I think the first thing I would say is, don't be too smart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go with the don'ts, and then I'll go with the do's. All right. Because what's put me off, and what has put me off since, okay, not you, I'm talking others, but what puts me off is somebody saying to me, well, yes, but if you're going to do that, this is the way that's worked for XYZ important person. I go, well, all right, but I'm not that person and I don't work that way. So, and then they'll go, oh, well, you're not, I don't think you're listening to me. Things like statements like that, they go away. It has to be something like, okay, tell me where you want to be, which is what you did. You said, tell me where you want to be and what you want this to do for you. Ask me the right questions, you'll get the right answers. And then you don't give away anything about what you don't know. If you were asking the right-ish questions, and if you didn't, I'd give you were sharp on knowing. You seem to be able to jump into me asking a question to direct another question. You just had that knowingness, I guess, savviness.
Letting the client lead the outcome while you provide the bridge would be like you've got the connector, but they know where they're going.
Yes, because if they want to, because if your audience wants to do this work, they must have a fair bit of ability and knowledge within them somewhere.
They do. They all do. Every single one of them. When we get on a call with them, we start asking them questions. We'll have people say, Trey, I don't even know what my offer is supposed to be. So we helped one guy, his name is Brad. We helped him build his offer from scratch, and he did I think it was $50,000 his first 30 days of promoting that offer. No audience or anything, just organic, the same way that we met, just talking to people, hanging out, sending messages, setting calls, making offers where it makes sense. And he killed it. And so everybody's got an offer. It's a lot of the time they doubt their own authority though. And I think that's where the value of this interview is most definitely.
Yes, that's right. The authority thing. And I think you had authority a fair bit though in just how your presence and your being is anyway, as young as you were and are. But I love that youth.
Maybe in the quality of the questions, maybe on our first meeting.
Your questions, I think, you do have a savvy maturity, very savvy and mature style about you. I thought, for some of the youthful people I've spoken to, they make no effort at how they present, is in backdrops or anything. You went to all the effort. It wasn't a big deal either, but it was lovely. I just felt a sense of switched onness that I could trust. So you have to trust it.
Interesting. And I think I'll translate that again, to our viewers. It's almost like when you put out a message that is genuine to you, and again, you're not trying to be something you're not. I tell our beginners all the time, you don't have to lie. You don't have to take on results that you haven't actually gotten. No. I've found people in our own program, and I will tell them immediately, that is not how you behave. That's not the sort of a business owner I'm creating. They will take other people's results that they helped start, but then it's 8 years down the line or something, and they still take credit, or friends of friends that heard the advice from the grapevine and took it and got results. They'll just take it from wherever they can just to get that little piece of authority. And I could have done that, but it wasn't needed, because I think in that call, I heard where you wanted to get. So I heard what you wanted to build. And I think more importantly than maybe who I was in that moment was what you wanted.
Yes.
I don't know if that maybe rings true.
I think it was. And you knew your funnels. I mean, that was the thing. I knew about the funnels. And I had an account, but and I think am I allowed to talk about the funnels?
Yeah, you talk about whatever we did. Yeah, complete open field.
Only that, because I'd been a little bit more switched on than I probably, and I think than people would think of my era. But I was in 2012 on the Internet Marketers Cruise, and I met Russell Brunson, and I got a photo with him, and that's clicked. You and I clicked on that.
Yes.
I think I sent that to you, which showed me with him before he had ClickFunnels.
That's good.
Yeah, so he spoke on stage and all the stuff, and I knew about them, but he wasn't called that then. So I was in that loop for a while, thinking, how can I do it? So I had all sorts of rough versions of it done, but nothing was professional and polished like you did. And now that is my main headline funnel on my website, churning through, that brings in my free strategy calls. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous. I myself can only take in 3 a month. Yeah. So to leverage, I have to now move to another model of how to do it. Bring more, do less. I don't know yet. I'm trying to work. That's why I've gone to higher packages. Yeah. So, but at the time, I couldn't even imagine bringing in, one every 6 months. And even I got the wobbles after we'd positioned that one at the 25K, and I still got the wobbles and dropped it to 12 for a while.
Yep.
But no, it didn't make any difference. I didn't bring any more in. Yep. I thought,
I tell our clients all the time, it's not a price problem. It's never a price problem. It's always a pain and desire problem. It's always a pain and desire problem. They're not in enough pain, and you haven't painted a clear vision of the future with them yet. That's why
right.
I see the price is being worth it.
That's right.
I love this, Dean. I honestly could go for forever. It's so neat to see how this has progressed, because honestly, it's like, it gives me so much confidence in helping other people get started, because not only did, was it a nice check that you had written me, but it's actually gone on to do very well for business. And honestly, at the time, I was like, I really hope, I'm really hoping this works out for me, because I want to see if this, and I think a lot of people are going to be inspired by that and the story of our relationship and how it's all worked out.
Yes.
So I can't say there's any other things I had in mind to share. I just wanted to take some time and just.
Good on you. I'm really proud to think I was one of your earliest people, because it was my early days of understanding. Because what you did was help me also believe, or not even more than believe, literally position at Lux level. And that was nothing foreign to you. It might have been, but you did a very, very good job of showing me at the time that it wasn't foreign to you. You were right on it straight away. And I'm saying I have to be in that elite top end, which I am now. And it's amazing. So now I need to get my level 2, 3 packages moving, and I might come back and talk to you about that another day.
Anytime. You've got my cell anytime. Well, thanks for your time. It was a pleasure. And I'll stop the recording. We'll have a moment here to just hang out again, and then I'll let you go back to your day as is. But thank you for your time. It's really, really.
Thank you too. And all the very best with everything you're doing. Very proud of you. I feel like you're my son or my grandson. My granddaughter's at 22.
That's wild. I love that. Well, thanks again, Dee. I really appreciate the conversation. It's been good sharing the story with the audience. Maybe we'll do it again.
Terrific. Thanks. Bye-bye to everybody.